those same parents did want to speak, did want to talk about what the loss meant in their own lives. Some wanted to take a very active role in trying to bring about legislative steps that would either deal with guns or deal with access to schools. And I am so struck by how this is an event that is rippling through not only that immediate community, but much beyond that. I now work on Capitol Hill, and of course today the senators from Connecticut and the senator-elect who will be replacing Joe Lieberman all expressed the same feelings that we are all feeling. They're expressing their thoughts, their concerns, understanding that information is very limited at this early stage. Most of Capitol Hill is quiet today, but we expected to hear from them and presume they will be trying to get to those communities as well. The new Senator-elect Patrick Murphy, his district is in fact, he's a member of Congress now, is where this occurred in Newtown, and so they will try to bring some sort of a national light to it in terms of what might be done weeks, months, years from now. But remembering Columbine is really to talk about how so many people are so deeply and personally affected, not just for the next few days or the next few months, but for years. We go back to these places and we remember the loss and how it changes people and changes communities. Parents are never the same after this. They go on. In fact, in one case with Columbine, the parents of a young man named Daniel Mauser adopted a child to have new joy in their life later because the void was so enormous. So I remember those families to this day. That was so difficult, and I can only imagine that when I hear things like this, I remember what those families are feeling, and I suspect that the families touched by Columbine. I also covered a shooting in Oregon that involved a shooter named Kip Kinkle. The families of those tragedies, Jonesboro, Arkansas, I'm sure will want to reach out to the families here because so few people have walked in those shoes. Those that have know how difficult the path is ahead.
You know, Kelly, I'm struck that none of us are equipped, I think, to handle the trauma and the emotional impact of witnessing something like this. But I was looking at one of the clips we showed a moment ago, and you see an adult holding a little child's hand who could have been more than 5 or 6 years old, and you think of look at this, you think of the impact on a child that young to have witnessed and been a part of that horror in that school. These were elementary school kids. This was an elementary school.
And those children who survive many times will have fears that stem from these events that are not the typical fears of childhood, and there isn't an easy way to try to help them cope with that. So for parents who are among the lucky ones today, who don't have a terrible loss, their own children who were anywhere near this will be affected for a long time to come. So when we think about how these events